Hi, I'm Lynn, and I want to talk to you about something that I've found that spans many books that I've read. I've seen it different places in little pieces, and I, I, I don't have one word for it. I have yet to find one word to describe this. So I'm going to kind of tell you what it is and then give you a definition that I've found. And that is each person can affect the health of their own body simply with their thoughts and their actions and how they go about life. And so there's this principle behind that like think about if somebody's getting on your nerves and you say, "You make me sick." Where did that come from? And there are a lot of expressions that are linked to what I'm talking about. I found this book, You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Louise Hay has more than one book that explains this, and she has a whole website and all of this information. That has been the longest list that I've found. And what I'm talking about is what has been described as a metaphysical link to illness, or a metaphysical cause to illness, or even a spiritual link to illness, disease, and that sort of thing. So if you want to go and research this and search the internet, you can look for those kind of words to help you find different lists that different practitioners have developed on their own. So Louise Hay is someone who has put together a list, and I haven't explained it quite yet, but of things and what they're linked to in the body. And I'd say there are other people that have other lists. So different doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, and other kinds of healing practitioners have noticed similarities between their clients or the clients that come in, and noticing how if one person says, "I get a headache whenever I XYZ," then a lot of people may come in and say, "I get headaches when XYZ." And so these people have started taking note of these similarities based on whoever it is. And if you study Jung, he has come up with these 12 archetypal personality types. Similar process. So what I mean is, in Louise Hay's book, she has a list of where is it? Kind of issues that people have and what it's related to. So let me give you my example, because this happened to me and I found it very helpful. I was working with someone, and I'm going to use some fictitious situations so I don't actually have to talk about it. But I was working with someone, and I'm just going to say I was supposed to write the letter. The other person was supposed to address the envelope, and we're sitting down to write all the letters and write all the envelopes. And this other person, I felt like the other person was using passive-aggressive personality styles, work styles, to get out of doing some of the work. And I thought they were going to just dump it all on me. So then I began to kind of voice back to this person, because they commented, "Well, I'm writing all the envelopes." And I retorted, "Well, I'm writing all the letters." So there was this kind of standoff. Now, neither one of us actually communicated with the other person about what we were doing in the beginning. So this kind of on both of us for the miscommunication. But there was another part that needed to be done. The third part was who's going to take all these letters and stuff them in the envelopes, and who's going to take them to the mailbox. Again, this is a totally fictitious situation, but I'm trying to leave the details out of it. Because we didn't communicate, it was kind of like we were posturing back and forth of who's going to stuff the envelopes and who was going to take them to the mailbox. When I didn't communicate, I didn't ask, but I felt like this person was posturing with passive-aggressive behavior to get me to stuff them all and to get me to take them all to the mailbox. And I began to stress about it. I began to I was thinking, is this person trying to get me to do all this work? I'm not going to do all this work all by myself. And I started going through this whole scenario and feeling bad, feeling resentment, feeling anger. And I could have just asked, but I didn't. And as I'm sitting there writing out these cards, these notes, my back began to hurt. Right down here. It just began to get tight and stiff, and it felt like on both sides that, I don't know what's in your back, muscles and fat and whatever, and it just felt like something was growing and growing and getting tighter and getting stronger and getting bigger at the same time, right on both sides of my lower back. And I was going, oh Lord, my back hurts. What am I going to do? I kept thinking how I'm going to have to walk gingerly or, get up gingerly so I don't hurt my back or stress it or strain it anymore. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm writing these letters and these notes and and it hit me. Look at Louise Hay's list. Granted, it's not the only list out there, but this is the book that I've been carrying around with me for a couple of years now. Just kind of looking at it for fun and looking at, if I have a headache, what does that relate to? If I've got a toe ache, what does that refer to? And I said, look at the list. Look at the list. So I looked at the list, and I looked up back. And I looked up lower back. And where it is. I'm gonna actually read this out of the book. And for back problems, the back represents, guess what? The support in life. This is exactly what I was feeling. This person wasn't supporting me. This person was going to dump all the rest of the work on me, and I was going to have to do it myself. And particularly, at least according to Miss Hay, the lower back represents the fear of money, or the lack of money and the lack of financial support. Now, for me at that time, well, let me just read the other ones also. Middle back is guilt, and that you're stuck in all that stuff back there. Get off my back. The upper back represents a lack of emotional support, feeling unloved, holding back love. Now, I didn't actually feel a lack of financial support, but I definitely did feel a lack of support. And when I read this, I thought, well, that's true. I'm feeling like resentment is starting to grow. I'm feeling kind of angry. I did voice some, I'm not a passive-aggressive person, I'm more direct, but I used a passive-aggressive style because I thought maybe they would be able to understand and communicate that way when I pushed back and said, well, I'm writing the letters. But still, neither one of us communicated beyond that point. We weren't specific. We weren't direct with one another. We weren't even in the same room. So, because I've been reading these list for a while. Not only her list, but anyone that I just Googled at the time. I decided to try something different. And I thought about the whole situation. I'm feeling resentment. I'm feeling a lack of support. I did voice a little bit of what, pushback. But I didn't communicate well, and neither did the other person. The other person didn't communicate well. We didn't have a plan. I'll do the letters, you do the envelopes, and then, hey, let's go to the mailbox and stuff them together. That, in my mind, would have been ideal. I don't know. I think the other person didn't want to do the rest of the work. And maybe it's, you do the rest of the work today, and tomorrow I'll do X, Y, Z. Whatever the resolution was, there was not a conversation about that. And so I acknowledged all of that, doing this all on my own, in my own head, talking to myself. And then I thanked, in my mind, Louise Hay for putting this list together. I thanked my body for communicating with me about what I felt. Because at the time I was feeling emotion, but I didn't consciously think about that emotion. So I thank my body for making the awareness to me, and I acknowledge the fact that I was able to figure out the situation. And then the next step was, I let it go. I let that whole situation go. I just let go of the tension. I let go of the resentment. I let go of the anger. And which was like past and kind of what was going on now. But I let go also of what was going to happen in the future. Like, however it turned out, whether I ended up stuffing and taking things to the mailbox, or if this person helped me or not, either way, I was going to be okay with it. And just do what needed to be done. Because bottom line, that task had to be done. And I resolved to just be happy and let it go. And the most interesting thing happened next. I still had those tight balls in the back of my lower back. And they were like holding on to me. They felt like these thick balls of what, I don't know, but maybe it was tight muscles, tension. Think about people that go to the massage therapist to help them work out the, blah, blah, blah from the day and the boss and the kids and the traffic and the blah, 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 blah. And so you go get a massage and you get it worked out. Well, when I let go of all of that tightness, released, and it began to dissolve. And within the same amount of minutes as I felt that tension arise and ball up and knot up in my back, I felt it dissipate and just melt away. And that was like a huge aha moment for me. It's like, wow. I wonder what else I've created in my body and what else I'm able to let go of. So I want to just say a little bit more about this metaphysical link to cause of stress, tension, disease, illness, uncomfortability. Just think about the word disease. It's actually dis-ease, not being at ease. And when you're stressed, you're not at ease. I'm quoting out of Louise Hay's book. All disease, and she spells it DIS-EASE, comes from a state of unforgiveness. Like in my example, the resentment I was feeling, I was building up to hatred and disgust, and I was just like, But quite frankly, I admit I take responsibility for that because I did not open up to communicate about the situation. I want to give you just a couple of other examples. Well, maybe just one other example. But I find this one kind of really interesting, and people can relate to this. Even if you don't have this problem, I think you can relate to it. So, eye problems. Generally, eyes represent the capacity to see clearly both the past, the present, and the future. So if you have eye problems like astigmatism, I think that's farsightedness or nearsightedness. I think that's farsightedness. That represents eye, not I, but me, I, the letter I, eye trouble. Fear of really seeing the self. Versus, okay, so that's under astigmatism. Farsighted issues represents a fear of the present. Whereas nearsightedness represents fear of the future. And as I put on my reading glasses, to be able to see things that are close to me, is I am farsighted. I can see great far away. For me, that would represent some fear of the present. And knowing what's happened in my life over the past couple of years, I actually went through a really rough period in my life, and my parents were much older than I am. Well, not just that they're old enough to have birthed me, but they're older than other people's parents who are my age. They both were ill within the same year. I ended up having to put both in hospice, and both my parents passed away within 4 months of one another. And during that period, I didn't want to deal with a lot. So I could totally see that. And after that point, my eyesight began to weaken, and I kept having to get these to help me read. Now, if you're like, I don't know about all that. I don't understand. I don't believe it. I don't get it. That's fine. Think about a lot of expressions that people say. Like when someone gets on your nerves, you're like, ugh, such a pain in the neck. And then, especially for me at work, when things are stressful, reoccurring things or things that I think could be much easier, I find myself grabbing my neck because now my neck's all tight and I'm trying to massage it all off. Or expressions like put your best foot forward, because it's slightly different. But if you fear that you can't move forward, you might have some leg or knee or feet problems. You make my head hurt. If you don't want to deal with anything, stop talking to me. You make my head hurt. There's a ton of expressions, and they all deal with a particular part of the body. And think about it. If you say an expression and you're linking a pain to a part of your body, you're doing the same metaphysical kind of connection or link between what you think and how you react to how you feel. So it's just something to think about. Maybe it'll help you resolve some issues in your life if you put this into action or try to practice it. Louise Hay, again, is not the only author who has put lists out there. I think I was reading a book by maybe Greg Braden, and he mentioned this in the book. it was kind of like a side story that wasn't the focus of the book, but I found it in his book, and I've Googled quite a bit, and there are lots of lists out there. Different, as I mentioned, different practitioners have started to record similarities between disease and issues and how people react to them. So, hope that helps you, and keep asking questions. Have a good day.